So when did you first become part of the Leimert Park community?
2009. We moved in. We were looking for just a nice neighborhood, and we happened to come down the street, and we saw the house, and we just decided. We met our neighbors across the street. We just kind of drove around the neighborhood to see, and we really fell in love. We looked at a few, probably about 7 houses in the neighborhood.
Did the culture of the community have anything to do with why you moved in?
Partly. When I was younger, I grew up the hill in Windsor Hills, and so we used to come down. They had different. They always had the Pan African Film Festival at the park. I'm sorry, Tristan. I'm recording something, so stop. Thank you. And there was always the African American festivals down here, so it was always, we were down here a lot. So it just makes sense to move into the community.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what were the demographics of the community when you first moved here?
Probably 99% African American. There was one Caucasian who lived on our street. Well, no, I say our neighbors across the street are not African American. And then we found out the people they bought their house from who live on the other street were also not African American. So I'd say probably about 98% African American.
Okay. And then how do you think these demographics impact interpersonal relationships between the community members?
Ooh. I think we're all striving for the same thing. I know when I first moved in, I was very involved in terms of I went to community meetings. I was trying to get a park or a library, something close for the kids. There wasn't too much for children. It's a very older, established neighborhood, so we were a younger couple who moved in, and there weren't very many kids. But I think even the older generation could kind of relate. That they kind of wanted the same thing for the community. They wanted to see it thrive. They wanted to see it. So I think being that we're all from the same culture helps.
Okay. And so my project is kind of exploring gentrification in Leimert Park, and if the influx of new residents from a different culture, if that has anything to do or if that impacts interpersonal relationships. So have you seen any of that since you moved here?
On our street, the kids are outside playing with a new couple that moved into the street, and they're Caucasian. I think, we're a mixed race family, so I think it's kind of easy for us to fit in with different cultures. But I do know that it kind of upset me about 2 years ago. There was an article in the LA Times about the gentrification, about how they focused on how all these Caucasians are moving into the area, Jefferson Park, Leimert Park in particular. And how the property values are going up, how they're helping to clean up the community. And that kind of bothered me because we've been doing that for a long time before they came in. And there hasn't been any focus on the new, like us, young couples moving into this established, older neighborhood. So I think it kind of put me kind of standoffish a bit, feeling like, this is my community, my area, and you're coming in, and all of a sudden it becomes better because you're here. But that's just in talking to our neighbors, we seem to all have the same desire. They're a young family, we're a young family. We all want live in a nice, safe community. So I can say the media has kind of pushed me against them, but actually talking to and interacting with them has kind of changed my opinion.
And do you think that we can have community development without displacing the culture?
Oh yeah, I think so. I hope that we do. Here in Leimert we do. We have there's an app called Nextdoor. Yes. And so there's a Leimert Park app, and so I kind of stay connected. We have a third Thursdays where all the people from the neighborhood kind of come out. If a neighbor's looking for a plumber, people give recommendations. It's almost like Facebook for a community. So it's nice because I've interacted with neighbors who live on the other side of Stockton, the other side. There's different areas within Leimert Park. So it's nice. We've been able to kind of interact. Yeah.
And do you see benefits to the new multicultural demographics?
I do. I know personally for me, just because of our mixed race family, it's nice for the children to see a variety. They go to school not in the area; they go to a private Catholic school, and so they're kind of exposed to different cultures. And so it's nice in our own neighborhood to have this, different cultures as well. So I do. I mean, I like it. I'm appreciative of it. Yeah.
Awesome. And how do you think the influx of new renters or new residents will shape the future of the community?
I know this is gonna sound bad, but I think it will help. There's certain, like downtown Lamert Park, where the park is, and where the Vision Theater is. It's a really nice area. We have a nice art district that's kind of being revitalized. We're having more shows, kind of more performances, and so I think with the train and all the stuff that they're building with the new residents coming in, that they'll be very vocal. Not that we're not, but I just think that sometimes we kind of accept things and kind of move at a very slower pace. And I think that with the new residents coming in, that it might put a little fire under our city council, our government to change things, to maybe upgrade our street lights, make it, we put some speed bumps to help because we have more children in the neighborhood, to just clean up certain areas, some of our abandoned buildings, maybe not make them look so, I just think that they will help to put a little spark under our community. Yeah.
And do you see any hindrances to multiculturalism or?
No, I just think that article that came out with the LA Times, I think that was on the hindrance. I think it was kind of, a neighbor of mine and my parents, showed me the article and we all talked about it. So I think it started a dialogue that didn't really need to happen just because the way it was presented, that they maybe made it more universal and all, and not so much just on that demographic. But I think that was the only negative or hindrance to them coming to the community. Other than that, I think it's a good thing.
Okay. Awesome.